Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
The earth is in the process of transformation. A separation, such as when a cell divides. Half will remain in the third dimension, the old earth, where there is conflict and violence. The other half will ascend to the fifth dimension, the new earth, where no negativity can exist. All across the world, there are internet content creators that are sharing new information to raise your consciousness and prepare you to ascend to the new earth. Join me, Naima Latif, every Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Time, and we will introduce to you these voices of enlightenment. Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us on this Wednesday edition of Voices of Enlightenment. I'm Naima Latif, and I'm excited to be able to introduce to you someone who is teaching us how to speak the universal language that is spoken among all living beings. Yes, there is a universal language. We come here knowing it, and then we get trained out of it as we begin speaking our vocally expressed language. That universal language is telepathy. Mind to mind, heart to heart, soul to soul. And we all speak it, but human beings are unconscious of it. So we're so unconscious of this universal language that we even debate about if it even exists. Is there such a thing as telepathy? Well, that is what all beings have inside of them. It is our connection to the divine and our connection to each other. It is our connection to those living beings that are non-human. We all have the capacity to communicate, and we will even discover, as some already have, that it's the language spoken by those outside of our realm. Some might call them extraterrestrials. It's the language spoken by those who are not embodied in a physical form. One may call them spirits. And all across the internet, people are sharing their experiences when they have perhaps died and come back, known as a near-death experience. And they're recalling conversations with past deceased loved ones in which no one was actually moving their mouths, but you were sharing information. You were exchanging thoughts and feelings and impressions and knowingness. Well, the interesting thing that we as human beings do is we have this concept that because we vocalize our thoughts, that we are of higher intelligence than other beings. And yet every species has a language. We'll say, well, only human beings have a language. No, every living being has a language, a way to communicate, which is what language is. A way to communicate thoughts, feelings, impressions, desires. It's a language. But whether you're barking like a dog or meowing like a cat or chirping like a bird, you are in fact expressing a thought, a feeling, an emotion, a desire. You're speaking a language. But what about that language that is spoken even when you don't make a sound? And that's the language that we all speak. It is an intuitive language, but we get trained out of it when we learn how to vocalize our thoughts. So, a few years ago, I took a course called Interspecies Communication, and I got a certification which shows that I, just like every other class you take, you take the class, you go through the lessons, you take the tests, and you get certified, a certificate saying, I now know this thing. And it's a process of being able to tune in to the spiritual energy of another and communicate feelings and thoughts. Now, I want to share with you someone who has mastered this, or share a little bit of her videos. Anna Breitenbach is one whose gifts have allowed her to help people who are going through difficulties with their animals, whether they be in a zoo or in a home as a pet. But she shared a very interesting experience. And all across the internet, people are sharing experiences. So we want to share a bit of an experience, and then we'll talk about it. And then, of course, we also want to give you an opportunity to be of service to one of our longtime friends and associates who's going through a health challenge as a result of an accident. And we're going to give you a chance to contribute to his well-being. And many of you who've listened to our shows, you're aware that he's been a frequent participant. Our dear brother, Minister Robert Floyd Plump, had an accident coming, ironically, from the funeral of one who's been a giant in the community. The Johnson Products founder, whose transition services happened this past week. And Minister Plump was involved in a head-on collision, which caused great damage. So we want to make sure we give a shout out to him and give you information on how you may contribute to his well-being. Because one of the things that we do as a community is to support each other. And we most definitely want you to be supportive of those who are always involved in the upliftment of our community, as Minister Plump has. So we're going to share with you some of the information that will allow you to contribute. And one of the reasons why is because he is constantly raising money for other people's causes and for the causes of community development. And one of the reasons why we do this is to remind us that we are all one family, which we are. And he's part of our on-air media team. On-air stands for Online Network of Associated Internet Radio Hosts. So we most certainly want to give you an opportunity to be a part of that giving process. So, right after the break, we're going to share that information with you. But first, we want to give you a taste of one of the people who has shared their experience as an interspecies communicator. And the reason why this is important is because many of us, we may have pets at home, and whether they're dogs, cats, birds, hamsters, and we enjoy, playing with them, taking them out, maybe amusing them, that sort of thing. Throw a ball to a dog or whatever, pet a cat, let them catch, any rodents in your house if you have that situation. But for the most part, we don't consciously think of how we're communicating with them every day. We don't think about how they are indicating when they're hungry, when they're thirsty, when they want to be let outside. We've learned to read the signals. And they, of course, surprisingly, they are sending us their thoughts and feelings. They're using this universal language, and some of us are oblivious. We're not paying attention. We're on our cell phone. We're on our, TVs. We're not tuning into them. And they get a little frustrated. Your dog is trying to tell you, take me outside. I need to go to the bathroom. Take me outside. I want to go for a walk. Take me outside. And, you're texting on your phone. So they jump up on your lap. Hey, pay attention. And then we get upset. But they're annoyed with us because we're not tuning in because we're distracted with our devices. So they have to physically get our attention. But all the time, they've been using this universal language that all living beings speak. Mind to mind, heart to heart, soul to soul. So let's take a look at what Anna Breitenbach is sharing in terms of an understanding of this universal language that we all speak. And we can tune in if we just pay attention to our animal friends.
This is my home at the southern tip of Africa. This place is special to me because it's the origin of our species, where we first lived in harmony with animals. My name is Anna. I've studied the ancient skills, and I'm so passionate about awakening a sense of communicating with animals in us modern humans. I'm dedicating my life to this because I believe that humanity is suffering from a great separation sickness, a real disconnect from nature. My sense is that by understanding animals more deeply, we can begin to heal ourselves. This is now my life. I talk with animals, and they talk back to me.
And we're going to take a quick break and come right back. and talk about how we need to be more conscious of how we're treating those other species around us and how our spreading civilization is affecting their lives. So we can be more sensitive when we see perhaps a stray dog or a cat ruffling through our garbage cans because their natural way of living, if they run wild, has been disrupted. And we can decide how we should treat those who we've taken into our homes and be more aware of their needs, especially when they need more time outside and outdoors and more fresh air, more places to run, and more social time with other animals of their species. We all need these things. So we, the human beings, have to be made more aware of how we're affecting other lives. And those of the non-human species, their feelings matter as well. So we'll be right back after this quick break. And we, as always, invite you to stick and stay and share this show, especially with those who may have animal friends that they're taking care of so that they can be more conscious of the lives they're affecting. We'll be right back after this quick break. We're going to greet our global family joining us from all around the world. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom.
In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you. Yes, we do want to talk to you, and we want you to talk to us too. And right now, we want you to learn how to talk to all of those around you, even those who are of the non-human species. But first, we want to talk to you about one who is of the human species and is most certainly someone that we would like you to remember, who's part of our news team. And one of the reasons why we want you to remember is because all of us who are here on purpose. And we most definitely have a purpose, and we honor those among us who are living their purpose to the best of their ability. So, with the on-air daily news team, we bring you daily news, we bring you sports, we bring you news happening from across the city, across the nation, and across the world to inspire you. And we have those who are constantly giving us information on what's happening in the city where we live, Chicago, and the nation, and how we can best be of service so that we can remember those who came before us, who have made a difference in our lives, and they've certainly made a historical difference. Well, as you can see on the screen, our dear brother, Minister Robert Floyd Plump. He does marketing and social media for our news team. And we would like for you all to assist in this time, because one of the things that he is experiencing is the challenge of recovery from an auto accident. And we want you to be a part of his recovery process. So we're asking that you donate. We simply want you to be a part of the collective financial support. So we're asking you to Zelle to our dear brother, Minister Robert Floyd Plump. And of course, the reason why is to make sure that the contribution goes directly to him. And we make it simple, because many times when people set up funds, there are arguments about where it went or was it used properly. And we don't want that. We don't want any confusion, and we don't want any doubt. So we make it possible. And as you know, he's president of the Harold Washington Foundation, and he's been constantly pushing that and reminding us of the work of the late Mayor Harold Washington here in Chicago. So we want to make sure that his work in keeping that legacy alive is remembered and honored. And we want to wish him well as he goes through the process of repair and recovery after a very serious accident. So this is why we're taking this time to remind you and give you a chance to contribute. So we're simply asking that you Zelle your contribution to Robert Floyd Plump, and his phone number, 312-882-5935. Again, that number is 312-882-5935, and we'll continue to scroll that across the screen throughout the show. He right now is preparing for surgery. Got banged on the head from a head-on collision, attending Robert Johnson's funeral, leaving, and of course, the driver of the other car not paying attention, apparently trying to swerve around some cars, smashed into his car head-on, broke his legs. And so, Minister Plump at 81, he's been a very consistent supporter of the community. And we are making sure that we, the community, step up and support him in this time as well. So you can Zelle 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, $100, whatever your heart tells you. However, this man has touched your life and given you positive memories and done the work of supporting the Black Wall Street Project and done the Harold Washington Parade and all of those things. So we're spending some time to encourage you to give your support and encourage you, just as if you were someone that had been as consistently supporting and promoting positivity in the community, we would certainly speak up for you as well. So this information is scrolling across the screen so that you can choose to give to Minister Robert Floyd Plump. It's part of our marketing team for the on-air daily news. And he's president of the Harold Washington Foundation, and he's part of the Black Wall Street Project. And he's a longtime community activist and promoter of positive music and all of that. So we visited him yesterday and promised that we would, in fact, give him an opportunity to reach out to those who know and love him and know that he is a long time activist in this cause for upliftment of the human family, and is even working on his autobiography to give us that historical perspective that is so unique. So we're grateful for his longtime support of the Female Solution Global broadcast. And we're asking that you be a part of this process of making sure that he does not have to stress about the overwhelming financial obligations that happen when you are going through the challenge of the healthcare system and surgery and recovery and therapy that's going to be required to get him back to a state of wholeness. And so this is what we're asking of you today, and we appreciate those of you who are responding. The simple Zelle to Robert Floyd Plump, that is the way his name is spelled, and that is his phone number. And this is what we're asking for those of you who know that face, know that voice, and have even been the recipient of his volunteer work with your organization. We want you to reach out and touch someone's life in a positive way and let them know that you love them. So we appreciate your response to that. And we're going to take another break and come right back with the work of Anna Breitenbach, animal communicator. And she reminds us that all beings have a soul. Yes, they do. They all have a soul, and they all have feelings, and they all deserve our respect. So we'll be right back after this next break. And again, we invite you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be right back after this message. And we invite you, we ask that you share this show with those you know, because what you do does matter. We'll be right back. So just stay with us.
brother, in which we're doing this documentary for, Douglas Robinson, Your Death Will Not Be in Vain.
He was a heck of a great dude. And I love Doug. Doug loved me.
Just being around him, he had a good spirit. He was a healing person.
They are there.
Get SROs back.
When you give to the poor,
should not be forced out of their neighborhoods when it goes through a period of transformation.
Because there are too many people who are losing their homes to taxes because they can't pay a $1,000 tax bill.
Have you seen all the solar farms popping up everywhere? You know, the big fields with the solar panels. There's one in our community. They produce electricity using the clean energy of the sun to send to the power grid to reduce our energy costs. Because not everybody can get solar panels put on their roof the way I have, but everybody can enroll for free to share the energy produced by the solar farms. That's why they were built. You know you're supposed to be getting a 10 to 20% savings on your bill for that, right? Illinois has a goal to transition by 2050 to 100% clean energy. So everybody needs to be connected. People in other communities are already getting their savings. So I'll be by to see you because they want to make sure you get your savings as well. It just takes a few minutes. I'm Naima Latif. Call me if you have any questions. 312-849-3456.
Yes, we want you to be a part of the restoration of this earth. We need to be kind to the earth, and we need to transition to clean energy, and the sun produces the energy that we need. And as we said, not everybody can get solar panels put on their roof, but everybody can be connected to a solar farm that is producing energy from the sun through solar power, and it will reduce your bill. And not only are you going to be contributing to the cleaning up of planet Earth by not using the dirty fossil fuels that we're using now, slowly removing our dependency on that, and at the same time getting a discount on your bill, getting a reduction on your bill because you're using less costly energy sources. But we're involved in a program that allows you to contribute with your enrollment in clean energy through the Illinois Community Solar Program. You can actually help the Higher Learning Network's homeless program. And as we've said, your enrollment, Higher Learning Network receives a referral gift to allow them to continue to help our unhoused neighbors. And we've said it, you can support clean energy and help HLN feed the homeless to start the process of connecting you to a local solar farm. Just text a clear copy of the front and back pages of your electric bill to 312-849-3456, and the Higher Learning Network will receive a referral gift of $25 to help us feed and our unhoused neighbors. It's so simple. We all have to look out for each other. And this is a simple way to do it to help somebody else and help yourself. Because the earth needs our sensitivity as well. And we do want to ultimately transition to clean energy. So be a part of that process and get that 10%, 20% off on your bill. It makes sense. So again, we're reminding you, just text that information at 312-849-3456. And you too can be a part of the transformation to clean energy. We appreciate you so very much. We are choosing to change the world in which we live by being more sensitive to how we're affecting other lives. That's the time we're living in. And every life matters. And this planet that we live on matters. And we need to share the resources. And we need to be sensitive to how we're affecting other lives. So when we take a look at those who are of another species that are affected by our behavior and our decisions and our lifestyles and the way we are often destructive in what we do and the creation of our homes and the creation of our way of life. Sometimes we are insensitive to how we're affecting other lives. And we're insensitive to their needs, and we often respond with hostility. And it's unfortunate because every life matters. So we're going to take a look at this experience. A researcher looking at the phenomenon of interspecies communication had an opportunity to learn of Anna Breitenbach after seeing the hurt experienced by a troop of baboons. And let's just let her share this story and think about how we treat those who are of the non-human species and how we can do a bit better.
They talk back to me. I first met Anna Breitenbach through a troop of wild baboons. My name is Swati. I'm a conservation journalist. I've often reported on this particular troop of baboons living on the fringes of Cape Town. They're constantly stealing food and breaking into cars. I've been jumped on by a big male who did not like me stopping him from getting into my car. Most people just don't know how to behave around wild animals, and this leads to more conflict. Yet, on that first day I met Anna, she walked easily amongst them, although she had never been around this troop before. This particular group of baboons is quite aggressive because of all the human interference in their lives. When the alpha male returned after a while, I was lying down almost asleep. It was the alarm call of one of the females next to me that alerted me to his presence. When I saw the big male approach with all the babies around Anna,
I was sure she was going to be attacked. I have seen this big male attack people he thinks are a threat to the young baboons. But that's not what happened.
He stood cross-legged in front of me, looking down at me with a very inquiring look of evaluation. And I had the question fall into my mind as his question, which was, "Who are you?" with a slight air of suspicion. I simply projected to him that I was there peacefully, just in a state of being, and right away he accepted me. And the alpha male kept on looking at me, and I got the distinct silent impression in my head from him, saying, "Seeing as you wanted to be with us, then do as we're doing and dig with me." And so I did. The way they were looking at me, particularly the alpha male, was with almost an appealing sense that I help humans understand who they really are. And there's a sense of confusion and sadness amongst them for the degree to which they're completely misunderstood. And the conflict with people is injuring and killing the baboons. This young male had his hand and his tail cut off in a trap when he was a baby. This female had her right hand cut off by a trap, and she lost her second baby as a consequence. This female was shot on a ledge and she fell, losing her left hind leg. And this female had her right hand crushed by a gin trap. And the big male who used to raid cars has since been shot for being considered too aggressive. And this is the pain of just one troop. Sometimes being a human bridge between non-human animals and my kind is difficult. I see both sides of that bridge. And the two pictures don't match up with each other.
This, of course, begs the question as to what is our responsibility for those of the non-human species. There is great cruelty, and we are of the erroneous belief that animals don't have feelings or that their feelings don't matter. So in order for us to be able to change the world we live in, we have to become aware that every living thing is connected to the divine. Every living thing is just an expression of the divine, and every living thing has feelings and emotions, everything. And this is a revolutionary change in thought for the human species that has been so very selfish in Western culture. Now, indigenous cultures understand the connectivity of all life, and even the way they approach hunting or farming or any other activity that's affecting other lives. It's with respect to the other lives. We in our so-called civilization, we're very uncivilized. We're very harsh and cruel and insensitive. and imbalanced. And this is why we create systems that are imbalanced. Energy systems that destroy the earth and the inner earth and the resources inside the earth and the lives of those living within the earth that help to maintain its balance. We, in our ignorance, are not seeing the value of all life. So Anna Breitenbach, and we're going to put up her contact information so you can see more of her videos. Anna Breitenbach is one of those interspecies communicators that is bringing us awareness of the non-human species and how we must all belong on this planet on which we live, in which human beings are destroying and are also destroying other lives. And it's unnecessary. We just need to be more aware. So we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about that process of learning interspecies communication and how you may be able, if you have an animal friend living with you, a pet, cat, dog, bird, hamster, snake, whatever it is, how you may become more aware of how you can care for them when you can tune into their communication and understand their feelings and provide for them as they are providing whatever companionship they're providing for you. We'll be right back after this next break, and we want you to share this show with those you know so that they can become enlightened as well. We'll be right back. So just stay with us.
Peace and love. I'm Michelle Renee, host of Education Nation, live on the Female Solution Global Network every second and fourth Sunday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. The intention of Education Nation is to raise awareness about the literacy crisis and to offer information to combat the problem. The goal is to awaken an army of reading coaches and mentors. You will experience guests who are doing their part in the community to ensure youth in their circles are reading and thinking critically. I look forward to serving you in this capacity. Literacy is freedom, and Education Nation will offer information and strategies to help ensure our young people stay free.
Welcome to Master Force with Mushim Suit. Join us each week on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central, live on Facebook and YouTube on the Female Solution page, as we dive into powerful topics designed to assist you in mastering your life force. Our conversations feature a diverse lineup of experts, all dedicated to your growth. Tune in weekly to discover new ways to elevate your spirit and raise your vibration. And remember, we are ascending.
Yes, we are ascending. And as we ascend, we expand our awareness. Well, we want you to tune in tomorrow to Master Force with Mushin Su. If you miss her at 7 a.m., tune on in again 7 p.m. Give her a chance to teach, inspire, and motivate. So all of us here at the Female Solution are striving to help raise your consciousness so that you are a part of the global enlightenment revolution as we ascend to higher consciousness and change the world in which we live. So, how do we communicate with those who are non-human? Well, before that can happen, we have to, first of all, know that it's possible, which means getting rid of incorrect beliefs that teach us that only human beings have intelligence. That, of course, is not correct. And as long as we believe that, we're going to ignore the signals that they give us as they strive to communicate. We've got some comments here we want to share, and thank you all for joining us today. Charles Anderson, J7Q, says, "Hi, family. I believe we are in the great days of tribulation and testing." Yes. So please remember, no matter what happens to you or whatever you are doing, please remember to always, always tell the truth. Such good wisdom. And we are in those times. We are in these times of transformation, these times that have been predicted by all the world's religions. And these are the times in which we are transforming to a higher consciousness. And so the separation that we spoke of at the beginning of the show, it is happening now. And the conscious and the unconscious are separating and are going to be experiencing different realities based on the choices that we're making on how we're going to live. Are we going to treat each other with kindness and fairness? Are we going to share? Are we going to express love and concern for each other? Or are we going to be fearful and selfish and mean-spirited and hurtful? So we're going to create the reality that we experience based on our choices and how we're going to treat each other. And this is why we are advising all of us to be aware of how we treat each other, because it does matter. No matter whether you're a human or animal, your life matters. So let's take a look at this phenomenon called interspecies communication. There are those who are actually sharing knowledge and are making it possible for you to learn the skills. So let's take a look. And we'll make this a little larger so that you can see it clearly. Interspecies communication certification is what you can get. It typically focuses on intuitive telepathic connection or behavioral learning using physical tools like buttons and so forth. Programs vary heavily based on whether you want to pursue a professional intuitive communication practice or a formal ethological framework. Now, there are intuitive and telepathic communication programs. These programs train you to interpret animals' thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. They typically require multi-level coursework, monitored case studies, and a review of professional ethics. Now, Nancy Weinhardt's professional practitioner certification is a multi-tier 12-week online program focused on deep two-way telepathic communication, counseling skills, and casework. It follows the ethical guidelines for animal communication practice. Animal Talk Africa practitioner's course requires completion of intermediate levels followed by 24 submitted case studies to certify as an intuitive interspecies practitioner. And the Ubiquity University offers a graduate degree certificate program in intuitive interspecies communication encompassing life energy and ethological foundations. So these show that this is a real thing and you can learn it and you can experience the impact of knowing how to speak to your animal friends, your pet, your dog, cat, bird, your snake, your hamster, or even the mosquito that's flying around your room, and you can tell them, please get out. I do not wish to share my blood today, or I'll share my blood, depending. I've told that story here. I'm not going to tell it again. But once you learn this skill, you become more aware of the rights of those around you, all forms of life. What we are seeking to do is to get back to the awareness of the indigenous people of this continent, who our school lessons teach, indoctrinate us to believe that there was something primitive, which is somehow considered a negative word, meaning uncivilized. So we've taught to look down on people who remained in tune with nature. And we've been indoctrinated to believe that their way of life was of less value and less advanced, when in fact, we're the ones who've been backwards. We're the ones who've been destroying the earth. We're the ones who've been creating pollution. And if you've been in the Midwest these last couple of days, you know, there was a major wildfire. People couldn't even come outside because the smoke was so bad. So what happens when we destroy the air? Nobody can breathe. We die. We get sick. We suffer. We're doing this, human beings. So the human beings who had the consciousness, the awareness, the understanding that we are all connected, we are one ecosystem, those human beings have been the ones that lived in a way that was balanced. And those human beings were setting an example of how we should be living, because they lived in harmony with all life. And that's how we should be, living in harmony with all life. That's how we maintain our lives. So we invite you to perhaps follow up and learn some of those skills. And if you desire to learn about Anna Breitenbach, interspecies communicator, you can simply, I'll type in her name, Anna Breitenbach. And you can go and you can choose to learn the skill of interspecies communication. Look her up on YouTube. Fascinating story. We appreciate all of you who are choosing to, as our sister Mushem says, ascend. We are ascending. We are becoming the enlightened. Join us. Come on back tomorrow to see our dear sister and experience Master Force with Mushem Sut. Join us tonight as we share more stories from the on-air daily news, on the on-air daily news hour. And until that time, we want you to continue to shine your light. I'm Naima Latif, and we'll see you tonight on the on-air daily news hour. And remember to give to our brother, Minister Robert Floyd Plum. We'll see you next time. We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.